All of Trump's plan trusters, all of Trump's loyalists, they're screeching about race communism and anti-white. And then Trump hangs out with the guy and says, I like him. You know, me, I like him. It's all fake. It's all kayfabe. What is it? Kayfabe. It's all professional wrestling. It's a soap opera.
We'll start with the Mumdani Trump press conference here. So we'll pull up this first slide here. So this was a wild one because before they met, one would figure they would have a pretty contentious meeting, but then it ended up being this whole kind of chummy love fest situation between Trump and Mamdani, especially from Trump's perspective. He was very, very cordial with Mamdani a few times, kind of defending him from some of the right-wing journalists that were in the press room. Very interesting. So we'll first start off with some highlights here from the press conference. Let's see.
Republican Elise Stefanik has campaigned multiple times by calling Zoran Mamdani a jihadist. Do you think you're standing next to a jihadist right now in the Oval Office?
No, I don't, but she's out there campaigning, and you know, you say things sometimes in a campaign.
Isn't that sort of
she's a very capable person, but you'd really have to ask her about that. But I don't particularly. I think I met with a man who's a very rational person. I met with a man who really wants to see New York be great again. And I can say again, because New York was great.
Why did you fly?
Hold on one second real quick. We're going to get back to this in a second here, but this was kind of jarring because Trump basically is undercutting all the Republican narrative against the Democrats in the upcoming midterm election by saying that no, Mumdani and the Democrats are actually not jihadists, and that has been the framing of the some of the Republican candidates in the upcoming midterms. We'll get into that in a second here. We'll just keep playing.
Our train screener.
I'll use every form of transit, and I want to make sure that they're all affordable in New York City, and that's why making buses fast and free is a centerpiece of our campaign.
There is a bus that goes.
Well, but I know, but it'd be fluid. That's a lot quicker too. You know, I mean, he's working very hard. For him to be, that's a very long drive. I'll stick up for you. You know, the plane takes you 30 minutes and driving takes you a long time.
It sounds like you've had a productive discussion, but just days ago you referred to President Trump as a despot who betrayed the country. You said you would be his worst nightmare and accused him of having a fascist agenda. Are you planning to retract any of these remarks in order to improve your relationship?
I think both President Trump and I, we are very clear about our positions and our views, and what I really appreciate about the president is that the meeting that we had focused not on places of disagreement, which there are.
And I've been called much worse than a despot, so it's not that insulting. Maybe I think he'll change his mind after we get to working together. Yes, please.
Would you feel comfortable living in New York City under a Mumdani administration?
Yeah, I would. I really would, especially after the meeting. Absolutely.
What makes you comfortable?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought.
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about.
That's okay. You can just say yes. Okay. It's easier. It's easier.
Wow. Road trip.
Is that reduction from what you're at right now? Are you committing to maintaining the same level of cops?
I've committed over the course of the campaign to maintain the 35,000. That's the head count that we had through the campaign.
And not replace them with caseworkers.
No, I've said that's the head count that we want. What we need to do is make sure they can focus on serious crime.
And he just retained a great police commissioner, I believe, right?
Yes, we did. Commissioner Fish.
If the newspapers are correct.
That one they're correct about.
He retained, I think, somebody that is she's a good friend of some of the people in my family, of Ivanka, and they say she's really good, really competent, and he just retained her, so that's a good sign.
You know about her, James?
Yes. Kurt's in the house, by the way. Welcome.
How do you do?
Doing well. How about yourself? Yeah, that was an interesting one because this is where some people who are suspicious of Mumdani are saying, well, he's already kind of bending to the establishment. He's keeping on this super pro-Israel Zionist as
he had AOC vibes oozing off him from the start. From the start, he had AOC phony vibes that if you lived through one AOC, you should have seen this one. But my friends in New York, no, they didn't see through it. They're like, oh, they either think he's a radical Islamist socialist or it's nonsense. I don't understand how you can fall for this again, but I don't blame Trump. Look who Trump's friends with now. The guy from ISIS and Al Qaeda that they had over. That tall drink of water. You know, Jelani, what's his name?
You talking about the president of Syria?
Yeah, the new president of Syria.
Yeah, it's
ISIS and Al Qaeda.
I can't remember his name at the moment. I have it.
He has a couple. He changes them.
Yeah, he does.
So Trump's shaking hands with an ISIS guy who, in all likelihood, is in the Daniel Pearl video. Very likely. We had John Kiriakou on talking about it. So I'm sure Mamdani is nothing compared to that. You know, obviously, he's a pussycat.
I am curious to hear kind of what you think of the vibe of the press conference. I have a few more slides I'm going to get into in a second here, but
great chemistry. Those guys have they should have a podcast.
They should have. Well, I mean, podcasting is a lot easier than running New York City or the country. I'll just tell you that. But
well, not if you're not really in charge. It's not.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, but I will say that I think most people who saw that press conference interpreted that as kind of Trump really being very cordial with Mumdani. I think he was kind of enamored with him in a lot of ways. It's hard to spin it in any other way other than maybe the New York Post. I just want to pull this slide up that I found very hilarious. So, wait, hold on. How does this? Why is that not playing? There we go. This is from the New York Post. I love you, Mom. Trump bulldozes socialist Zoe with kindness. Okay, so he's saying that he's owning Mamdani through kindness here. And this is what they write. They say President Trump and Zoran Mamdani appeared to have a giddy love fest during their first White House meeting Friday, with the New York City mayor-elect's stance showing he wants to be a, quote, a good little boy after the two hurled attacks at each other for months. A body language expert revealed.
Which expert?
It's an unnamed expert here. It said, they say, quote, Mamdani stood like a little schoolboy, his hands clasped together most of the time, trying his hardest to look like a good little boy, she added.
So like Tim Waltz with the Soros boy? That picture.
Hey, this is the New York Post here. I just wanted to give people a taste of how the ultra Zios are potentially spinning this press conference. They say that Trump was very...
Right? At the end of the day, that's what it is. How will the hardcore Zios spin this? I mean, yes. Because I don't know. Nobody knows anything about Mumdani other than what they've spun so far.
Right. And they're saying that Trump was very hands-on, tapping Mumdani and shaking hands with him, but he made sure he tapped Mumdani's hand last to indicate that Trump is the one in control. Okay.
Yes. It's an ancient Freemasonic ritual.
Body language. Because what's actually happening is that there is a little bit of a, I would say, right-wing, especially from the Zionist perspective, like Laura Loomer, a little bit of a breakdown, a little bit of a meltdown here. She says that why did Zelensky receive a harsher welcome at the White House than Mamdani? Interesting. If socialists are doing a good job, then I guess nobody needs to vote them out during the midterms. If you're a Republican, why not just stay home in 2026 and 28? Since Mamdani's policies are amazing, I'm confused. Need to oppose the left, I guess, or no need to oppose the left, I guess. I guess socialism is comfortable now. No need to vote for the GOP in 26. Because the message is I'm getting as far from that. Am I missing something? Yes.
Yeah. Doesn't Israel have that? Don't they have socialized medicine, the greatest nation on this earth, which is Israel?
Well, I think they do, but partly probably because we pay for everything else there.
Yeah, we pay for the social. I like that we pay for the socialism of other countries. Oh, and Argentina on top of it.
I know you guys talked. I don't know if you were on that show when you guys talked about Jonathan Pollard last week, right? You guys covered how he was invited to the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem, and he basically said that you wanted to nuke the United States if we didn't get into line.
How did he get the job? How did he even get the job to be in the position to steal secrets? I mean, they don't screen you with some really harsh things before you get in. They make it sound like that.
Well, not only that. Okay, so let's say he did some bad things. Now they're basically saying we're cool with that. The White House is saying we're cool. We condone the actual traitor. We'll talk about MTG in a second here. But
what happened was he gave it
quote unquote a traitor. That Trump's calling her a traitor, but this is an actual traitor going to the U.S. Embassy, meeting with the ambassador
Oh yeah, Huckabee, unbelievable. Hanoi Jane Huckabee over there. So this guy, he gives the secrets to Israel, who then trades them to the Soviet Union at the height of the Cold War. So really, you could, if you want to excuse, he just gave it to our best friend Israel. Shouldn't we share whether we want to or not with our best friend Israel? Israel then, in turn, was an even bigger traitor, giving that stuff to the Soviet Union. I mean, what?
Israel only cares about Israel. I think that's what people should understand.
That's all I care about too.
Israel just cares about it. Israel is always Israel first. They will put America basically at high risk. They will kick us to the curb if necessary, as long as it's good for Israel. I don't think people realize that.
Dude, America's like fourth to me. Okay, first comes Israel, then comes Taiwan or China Israel, as I call it, and then comes Ukraine or Cabbage Israel, then United States.
Well, in terms of, a
lot of people can't handle my views on that.
Well, see, I don't know. I just don't know if the other countries have this kind of power in the U.S. where we're not really even allowed to criticize. Or, have you heard of anybody in the right wing, mainstream, or otherwise independent media really call out the fact that we're basically inviting a traitor to the U.S. embassy? Has anybody really reported on that?
Dude, I'm not even seeing enough reporting on the ISIS guy coming to the White House,
yeah. Oh, like, no, he was invited on to, I can't remember, was it CNN or ABC? I can't remember, one of those. And they were asking him about his Al-Qaeda past and if he feels bad for doing 9/11 or whatever. And he was like, oh no, I was like 18. And so I wasn't even involved in that.
Everyone was doing it because they're still using Al-Qaeda talk in fear-mongering ways. Currently now, I see things pop up in my feed all the time. I'm like, no, we're cool with them now, guys. Don't you know? Also, let's give them credits, both ISIS, which he was also in. I want to really stress ISIS, the worst one, he's in all of them. He was from all of them. But to their credit, never attacked Israel. Yes. Do they have some anti-Semitic rhetoric I didn't like? That's true. But they never attacked precious Israel.
Yeah. So let's take a look at this from the Republican perspective, because I think this meeting, back to the Mumdani Trump thing, I think it's really going to undermine a lot of the messaging that they have for the midterms. Let's see if I can get this video pulled up here. Did I do it?
Mamdani has probably seen the ads and was like, these are smart, because anybody with political instinct would look at that campaign and say it was very, very smart. And Trump mentioned himself watching Mamdani's numbers go up and up and up. And now it's actually funny because a lot of people are, I'm just seeing this like commentary on social media being like, oh, Trump just killed the New York governor's race for Republicans, because so much of their efforts to take on Hochul are focused on tying her to Mamdani. And the Mamdani tie works a lot.
Say again, Kurt.
Oh, that's their plan. Oh my God.
A lot less well. It's not as dangerous if the president's like backslapping with him in the Oval Office, saying he feels perfectly safe in New York City, would feel perfectly safe, taking away your jihadist line, which is insane and just like a completely stupid thing today. He neutralized like 80% of the Republican campaign against Kathy Hochul. And it's Elise Stefanik, who is like his hand-picked person for that role, whose campaign he just undercut, not just in response to my question, but actually the entire meeting, the photo op, everything in and of itself neutralizes the Stefanik campaign.
Okay, so let's take a look at Elise Stefanik's response here. She says that, and she's running for New York governor against Kathy Hochul, and she's like the one that was crying about anti-Semitism in school and this and that. And she says, we all want New York City to succeed, but we'll have to agree to disagree on this one. If he walks like a jihadist, if he talks like a jihadist, if he campaigns like a jihadist, if he supports jihadists, he is a jihadist, and he's Kathy Hochul's jihadist. And in the meantime, like you were saying,
Kurt, what was the link they showed? Did you see the jihadist that they connected him to in that tweet?
Who is that?
It's WTC terror linked imam who called for jihad in NYC. I have no idea. It's really reaching. It looks like they're grasping. By the way, an Al-Qaeda linked terrorist was just in the White House.
Right here. Here we go.
What? There's Witta Adelson. Get down. That's Al-Qaeda.
Yes. Okay. Here, I have some information. Okay. So it's President Donald Trump met with Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara, that's his name, at the White House.
Formerly Jelani until last year.
The first, the first such visit from a Syrian leader in the country's history. Not long ago, he led a branch of Al-Qaeda. I don't think this is even Al-Qaeda linked. It says led a branch of Al-Qaeda, the group behind the 9/11 attacks, allegedly, and many others. Before breaking off ties, the Treasury Department removed al-Shara from its specially designated global terrorist list just last week.
Wow, they're downplaying his contributions to the jihad quite a bit, aren't they? Just watching the Petraeus interview, Petraeus says, and you can read between the lines if you're not a moron very easily. He goes, we were on opposite sides, particularly during the Iraq insurgency. You know, when ISIS started, he's a founding member of ISIS. Okay. That's a straight up a fact. They always downplay like he's just part of a kind of a thing of, okay, you know, obviously America created all these with our best friends, Israel, Pakistan. But look how they downplay it, because I always bring it up to people. Yo, Guantanamo's open still, dude. Are there people in Guantanamo from Al-Qaeda that see this on TV? And it's like, am I getting out? Am I getting out soon?
If they can, you know, give us their oil or whatever other natural resources, if they have that kind of ability, yeah, sure. I mean, these are terrorists, but we from the United States perspective, we're cool with terrorists as long as there are terrorists. You know what I'm saying?
They almost always are. In fact, I think you'd be hard pressed to name some terrorists that it turned out we didn't actually, and I don't mean we made with our bad actions around there. I mean, literally intentionally made.
Right. We put them in power. We gave them the weapons. We gave them the training to overthrow some democratically elected leader because they
explain Ukraine to people and you go and they go, but only 1.2% are Nazis. Like, those are the ones with the guns that we put in. That's all it takes. The rest of these can't do shit when they take over. That's what we do everywhere. You know, it's just a very simple formula they do over and over. We did it in South America. Everybody seems to know this, but they don't put it together with this for some reason. And I don't get why.
No. So, I mean, as it ties to with this Mumdani situation, I think the takeaway here is that we're not really sure. Like, this is another take. This is from Matt Stoller saying that this Mumdani Trump meeting also undercuts the main fundraising source for the Democrats, which is that Trump is a big fascist. And so they're saying
all they run on now. I mean, all they have is the Republicans were counting on calling him a jihadi, and then the Democrats are going to do another round of saying Trump's a fascist. Are you serious?
Well, it works really well for fundraising, I suppose.
Yeah, well, Kamala ran a great campaign. You got to admit that.
She wrote a whole book about
$1 billion campaign.
Shocked. 107 days to lose a campaign. I don't know.
Extremely expensive too. That's my favorite. like many of our wars.
Yeah. So now I guess at this point I'm more or less along. I heard we're going to play it in a second here, but basically this whole thing seems like theater, like Mumdani going in there, just sort of broing out with Trump. They seem to like each other. I guess the pro Mumdani people I've heard are saying that he is doing what he needs to deliver for New York. So if he needs to play nice with Trump in order to get his things done, he'll do that. He'll, be in the mud. He'll yuck it up. And so we'll see. We'll see if that's the case. But the other side, the more, I guess I would say nihilistic side would be like, this is just politics and it's just fake and gay, basically.
Well, that's not what nihilism means. I know everybody saw Big Lebowski and hasn't ever bothered to look up the word, but it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, nihilism, or maybe I'm not using
no morals. The reason you're saying that is the opposite. You're the opposite of nihilism. You have morals, and they're not representing them in any level from any angle. So of course you're going to not believe in a thing that's visibly immoral. That's not nihilism.
Okay? Maybe I meant like sort of black-pilled. In a sense.
That's again. They always have these bullshit words for people noticing a profound issue with the whole thing. Yeah, and then the stupidity of calling it nihilism, and I hear all the time from all sides. And I go, look up nihilism, please. That's not what it means. It doesn't mean you don't believe in our political system. Which, if you still believe in it now, dude, I mean, come on, is everybody dumb?
Wait, so what is the word that we're supposed to use here, Kurt?
I would say your eyes are open
and stupid.
No, he's a Soros candidate. He's a Soros candidate, that guy Mamdani. He never said anything unreasonable that I heard. I heard like New York Post headlines about something he said that I'm sure he probably didn't say, which is what they do every time. The few times I saw him talk were at the debate when they said, bizarrely, will you go to Israel your first week as the mayor? And they went down the line like an SNL sketch, and he was like, no, I'm the mayor of New York. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. Other people must have seen that debate. Like, do people think they have a real government when that's the first question being asked of your mayor, and it's about if he'll take a trip to Israel?
That I think won him the election. I mean, he was the only one that said he was
the only one that wasn't insane. Right? All he did was go, I'm the mayor of New York. There was not controversial. It's like answering what a woman is. It's not a controversy. Yeah. Shouldn't be complicated. But because everything's cuckoo, it is somehow. It's really getting like worse and worse, dude. But they have nothing to run on no more. Any of them?
No, they don't. All right, let's hear Nick Fuentes here.
All this was coming from the Republican side. They called him.
Hold on. Wait, why is that not playing?
Jihadist. They called him an Islamist.
There we go.
A communist. All the usual stuff. He's going to ruin the city. And now they're not only meeting, but they have a very congenial meeting. Trump meets with Zoran, and it's chummy. It's friendly. I think it's mostly one-sided. I don't know that Zoran, he didn't look particularly friendly. Trump was very friendly. He seemed enamored with the mayor for some reason. I don't know why, but that was very funny and unexpected. And what's, to me, very rich about it is that this just demonstrates time and time again, it is the masses. It is the vulgar masses, the throngs of the plebeians, of the peasants. All of the propaganda and the polemics, it's only for them. The influencers that peddle it and the politicians and billionaires that pay the influencers to peddle it, they don't even believe it. They don't believe it. They're just saying that it's tactical. They're either purchasing it for political benefit, and the influencers, well, they're getting paid to post it. All of that resentment and all of those emotions, those belong exclusively to the lower classes. Because that was the story of the election. You remember during the mayoral race, they said he's a Marxist Islamist, he's a jihadist, he's an immigrant, he's a third worldist, he's anti-white, he's a race communist. Remember this? And this slop was being fed to us, fed to a Twitter audience and the boomers by Fox News, by the Peter Thiel network, the Bronze Age pervert types, these idiots on Twitter like Jack Posobiec and Raw Egg Nationalist and all the usual suspects. They said he's a communist Muslim, cannot be elected. And in the end, Trump not only invites him to the Oval Office, but he's enamored with him. He's actually sticking up for him. Zoran's being asked, so do you think Trump is a fascist? And Trump says, just say yeah. Sure, you think I'm a fascist. Who cares? Conservative journalists are grilling him. Trump says, I'll stick up for this guy. So what happened? I mean, talk about cutting your legs out from under you. All of Trump's plan trusters, all of Trump's loyalists, they're screeching about race communism and anti-white. And then Trump hangs out with the guy and says, I like him. You know, me, I like him. It's all fake. It's all kayfabe. What is it? Kayfabe? It's all professional wrestling. It's a soap opera.
I mean,
did he figure that out when he went with Kanye to meet with Trump? Is that when he put it? Or he guided people in on January 6th and then had them take pictures with their IDs at his little pack meet, whatever the hell it was called. Everybody would stand next to him with their ID. Is that when it dawned on him? I'll bet that's when it dawned on him.
I don't know. Well, so okay, yeah. Tell me, because I think you are not so keen on Fuentes. What's your theory on him?
Well, it's not a theory, dude. I saw the tape of him saying disregard the police, break down the barriers. I would say look up the Mikey No More documentary because it's really good. He's got one on Laura Loomer too. NOH, Mikey, NOH, More. Very thorough. But this dude, I still don't understand how he wasn't people had their lives ruined that followed him. There's at least 4 or 5 people that were his followers who had their lives destroyed that he disavowed immediately after that. Okay. He wasn't honest about his money being frozen. It got unfrozen very quickly. I've never gotten a satisfactory answer when I ask about it. It's always vague. It's like it might as well be any other politician. Then after the Charlie Kirk thing, he goes, I don't think Israel did. He vocally goes, I don't think it was Israel. So that's him.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of being a good boy to show you could get in the good people's club, that's what that was.
Well, I think that was him trying to angle for probably taking over some of that audience.
That's exactly what do you think it is? That's exactly that. But it also shows you can be welcomed on all the platforms again, because he was like a boogeyman to be trotted out on purpose. I looked at him as a human stink bomb whose job it is. Oh, that guy's candidacy. He stood next to him to like ruin his candidacy to get his stink on him.
Kind of, but I would say he is still sort of radioactive. People are going hard after Tucker Carlson after they had their conversation.
We had that pedo in his group that was grooming his own followers. Don't forget Ari Alexander. Haven't heard an apology. Also, his stupid no race mixing, all his racial shit's despicable. Fuck him for that. I'm like, I don't know. Is that what is this thing? We're like, that's cool too. No, it ain't cool. And what is it with these closeted hyper traditionalist tradcath bullshit cat boy? What is this shit? I'm just an old cat man, so I don't get it.
That is, I guess, a different conversation potentially. But I guess just to wrap up the Mumdani conversation, like my thought there is that, it's hard to imagine a world where Mamdani is going to be actually able to do everything he says he's going to do, or he's not going to somehow bend the knee to the establishment. I think he's already there if he wasn't, there.
AOC
already.
Time. Get ready for AOC time. Remember the Squad, what they're going to do? And what did they do? It's going to be just that level of disappointment if you give your heart to that shit.
I guess the only difference is that he is a mayor, so he has maybe a little bit more power from the executive perspective than say an AOC to actually get something done. So he has maybe fewer excuses. If he wants to do something, he probably has a little bit more leeway to do it. And he's, I believe, not born in the US, so he's not necessarily going to try to become president. Like AOC is clearly trying to become president. So
she should. Yeah, absolutely. She's accomplished so much, And
if she doesn't run for president, we should all be disappointed because she could have, actually done something. But now we know what she's up to.
Dude, all these people are groomed. That Mamdani and her. Why are the politicians getting hotter and the actors getting uglier? That's not normal. Do you understand? These are all industry plants, all of them. None of them are some organic thing, especially not Mamdani. I don't know how people buy into that. You might buy into a K-pop band or something. It's nonsense. Eric Adams, you think he wanted to house all those asylum seekers in all the hotels and piss off all the voters? No, he had to follow whatever orders he had to follow, right? And when he didn't want to follow them, they turned on him, and he was almost.
They filed that lawsuit, right? He was getting sued for whatever.
Yeah, for too much relations with Turkey, which.
Right. He was like taking some private jet, or no, like not even private jet, but just like first class
bullshit
tickets.
They're all guilty of. And then at the Al Smith dinner, because I wrote jokes for Trump. Trump didn't use my jokes, but he had good ones. They weren't. Al Smith dinner that Jim Gaffigan got fed up with Democrats at. He goes, Trump, I saw it just like he did with Joe Arpaio back in the day. He went to Eric Adams, like, I got a feeling you'll be okay. And sure enough, he was.
Well,
and wouldn't you know it?
All right. Well, so any last words here before we throw over to Misha?
Yeah, I hope everybody grows up at some point in their head and understands the show being played. I mean, how many times do you have to have a little bit of, if you liked Bernie, a lot of people that watch the show were Bernie people, right? I mean, that should have taught you a lot then, but by now you must have figured out they're not going to do anything that you want to vote for. They're going to do what the donors and hopefully what you want coincides with a massive donor.
Well, what's that saying? If voting worked, they wouldn't allow you to do it or something like that?
Yeah, that's right.
Was that George Carlin? I think that was George Carlin, right? It's like if voting did something, they wouldn't let you do it.
Yeah, and if it does work, they rearrange the rules to make it so you can't do it. They do it every time. When it works,
All right,
they'll
let's do it.
gerrymander it out of it.
Come see me on tour in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, Waikiki, Hawaii, and the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.